On-chain Bitcoin metrics are some of the most reliable and effective data points to improve your BTC investing. But with some simple tweaks, you may actually be able to make your favorite charts even better. Today, we're going to be going over a very simple method to utilize the Bitcoin Magazine Pro API to improve your Bitcoin indicators, charts, metrics, and just any strategy you may be implementing. So to utilize the Bitcoin Magazine Pro API, you do need a professional site subscription. So I definitely recommend having one if you don't already. But if we just scroll down, there's actually a huge amount of charts, a vast majority of the charts on bitcoinmagazinepro.com that you can get the raw data for to manipulate in your own ways to maybe combine indicators, to maybe look at them in a new way by new logics and calculations. And we've recently added hourly data charts that we're going to continue expanding upon. So you can maybe even trade a little bit more frequently and potentially even automate your trading using these hourly data points. So to do this, we're going to be using a very simple method utilizing a Google Sheets document. So this is very simple, very little coding required, and it'll give you immediate access to pretty much every single one of Bitcoin Magazine Pro's indicators. So the first thing we're going to be doing in this sheet is going to extensions and then pressing on app script. Now this is going to open up a new page for us to actually create a little bit of code to actually get this API to work. Now what I've done is, if you look in the comment section below, is I've pasted in every piece of code you're actually ever going to need to do this. So if I just delete all of this and paste in everything you see in the description beneath this video, it's going to have everything here. But we are going to need to make a few slight adjustments. So if we just look up here, I'll also have a README in the description, by the way, so you can see all of these instructions yourself. But if we see here, we can see that we need to delete the space between the HTTPS : and the -- API. So if I just delete that here, that's all we need to do. I'm going to delete this just so the code's a little bit cleaner. And then what we need to do is get an API key here. So if I just go back to the Bitcoin API page we have here, I'll show you my current API, but I'll just change it afterwards. If you ever feel like you need to change, you can just press rotate API key on site. And then there you go, a new secure API just for you. So I go back to the app scripts page here and delete where it says your API key, and then paste in the new one I just created. I'll also delete this little command again, just so the code's a little bit cleaner. And then the only other thing you have to do is, on my Windows machine, I press Ctrl F. On a Mac, I believe it's Command F. You just need to open up this little finder here and then put an @ symbol, because YouTube does not allow me to actually paste in every symbol that I want it to. So we're actually going to need to replace these @ symbols with this greater than symbol here. So then if you just press this, replace all the code will be absolutely sorted. So then all you need to do is just press save project. And as it's saving, we just need to go back onto our Google Sheet here, give it a refresh, and then we should be able to have access to all of the Bitcoin Magazine Pro API. So after you've done these 3 simple steps, you should have this automations section here. And then that's pretty much it. You have access to all of the daily metrics and hourly metrics on Bitcoin Magazine Pro. So if I just press get daily metrics here, what we'll need to do is just give authorization to actually run this. So once you've pressed OK on that, if it does pop up and just signed in again quickly, go back to automations and press get daily list. Now this script is going to run, and here you go. This is every single one of Bitcoin Magazine Pro's daily API tools. And then for any single one of these, let's just say the active addresses, you just click on any one of these names, go back to automations and press get data for selected metric. If you just look down in the bottom here, this has now created a new sheet just called data that's been populated with all of the data from that raw active addresses metric. Now what I like to do is just duplicate this data sheet at the bottom, rename it to active addresses, or just active for now. And then that way we don't accidentally overwrite it if we get the data for another metric. Now, again, all you need to do is press get hourly metrics list to get all of the hourly metrics. And very similar process, you just click on any one of them. So for example, let's get the funding rates for Bybit and press get data for selected metric. And then immediately we then have the data for all of the Bybit funding rates going back multiple years on the hourly time frame. So here, just as an example, what I've done is I've got the daily funding rates for Bybit going all the way back to mid 2022. And I've also got the fear and greed index data, again, going all the way back from 2018 to the current day. And what I've actually done here is in this sheet, I've combined these metrics. So we have the funding rate data from one sheet, the pricing data from the funding rate sheet as well, the date, and then as well as that, the fear and greed data align. So they're both starting on the same day. And then what I've actually done is multiplied the funding rates by the fear and greed, and then applied this data to a chart with a moving average. So if I just hover over here, you can see these raw data points a little bit scattered, and sometimes seeing the influence of the funding rate and the fear and greed index can be a little bit overwhelming as the data is changing so rapidly. So what we can do is see, are the funding rates and the fear and greed, the overall sentiment of the market, aligned? If so, then we definitely get a positive or a negative confluence. And if we apply a 7-day moving average to this, we actually then get this very smooth line to give much cleaner indications of what the current data is telling us. We can see very clear periods where the sentiment and funding both indicate that both traders and long-term investors are very bearish on an asset, which has been a great period of time to counter trade these two data points. And then very similar to the upside, once we both have a very greedy sentiment and an overwhelming majority of traders longing the market, this gives us these very high data points here that indicate that maybe the market is slightly a little overly bullish and a retrace may be required. So we can just see immediately over the past couple years that this metric, very quickly put together, very simply using the API, has actually been very effective at timing the market's extreme conditions. So just to summarize, relying on quantifiable data points and confluence throughout multiple metrics has historically been more effective and considerably simpler than relying on emotions and instincts. And now we have access to this raw data, we can actually combine and tweak these metrics to most of the Bitcoin Magazine Pro charts to create unique and bespoke indicators specifically tailored to improve your investing. Now with the latest edition of hourly metrics, you could even explore more frequent trading strategies and potentially even automation to supplement your longer time frame accumulation or distribution of BTC. If you liked this video, then please visit bitcoinmagazinepro.com, where I'm just going to rotate my APIs again quickly, where our analytics help you to cut through the noise to make informed, data-driven decisions about Bitcoin. With over 150 live charts, personalized indicator alerts, in-depth crypto industry reports, and especially the API access that's available at a fraction of what you're going to find anywhere else in the industry, that gives you the ability to create custom metrics like we've discussed today. And let me know what your thoughts are on potentially creating your own unique indicators. Are there any combinations you've found to work incredibly well? Or are there any others that you'd like to see me make and show off here on the channel? As I said, let me know both in the comments below and on social media. I look forward to reading and replying to all of them. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.